Hello, everybody. I've decided to go live today, just impromptu, as I was meant to be doing an interview today. So I thought, but for one reason or another, that hasn't happened. But what I thought I would do is just sort of give everyone a bit of an update. Basically, the interviews that I'm doing are part of the WTU, We the Undersigned. I'll say the name right this time, but that's what this t-shirt is. And basically, We the Undersigned is a group of people who Phil Monk is the founder. And basically, we want to compile a court case against the government to change legislation in regards to cannabis. Because we have decided that we have had enough of people, of the UK government imprisoning people for cannabis, taking people to court for cannabis, breaking down people's doors for cannabis, when all people really want to do is get better. Even if they aren't using cannabis medicinally, the actual harm caused by cannabis is mainly due to the act of prohibition rather than actually cannabis itself. Regulation and clear labelling on cannabis and cannabis products in regard to strength and ratios would actually solve a lot of issues that can arise due to cannabis having too much THC for some people, etc., or it not being clean or flushed properly, or depending on how you grow, whether you flush or not as well. Apparently, there's a big debate about that. Anyway, you can look into that a bit more if you want to. But basically, what we're doing as part of the WTU is we're interviewing people who have been in trouble with the police, basically, who have been busted by the police, and we're going to be actually pointing out where the harm actually is. And there's some very brave people who have come forward and who have decided that they will do that. So that's one of the things that I've been up to behind the scenes, because on my page I have been pretty quiet. Obviously, I still work as hard as ever, but I have been a bit quiet on my page. And with setting up my CBD as well, it's my attention has been divided. But I'm still here and I'm still working and I'm still doing what I can as a cannabis advocate. I prefer the word advocate personally, each to their own. But as a cannabis advocate, I'm still here. My priority is still working to make sure that every single person that needs to consume cannabis can get it. I'm here to advise people as much as I possibly can on how to grow or to use cannabis safely. But I wrote another poem this morning, so I thought, well, I'll read my poem. This poem I've written basically because of what's happened to Philip, the 80-year-old man. I will basically... I've been sharing his stuff, Tony Bevington. I've been sharing his stuff on my page because this absolutely infuriates me when you can have 80-year-old men having their doors knocked down for plants when they're the only thing that are actually keeping him well. He has stage 3 kidney failure, and the police have now raided his home twice for his plants that he grows. He's been threatened with becoming homeless and of court and arrest and everything. And this man's 80 years old. Do you know, it's all he uses, apart from he's a vegetarian and so he watches his diet. But these are his words, and I have shared them, but I'll share his words and then I'll do a quick poem and then I'll go. My name is Tony Bevington. I am Tony Bevington. We all are Tony Bevington. I live in Camborne, Cornwall. In March this year, I will be 80 years old. About 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3 kidney failure. With dialysis and kidney failure, a condition for which there is no cure or treatment that can be terminal. With dialysis and transplants the only resource. With this in mind and being very aware of the medical aspects of cannabis, I started to grow my own medicine. I processed the plants for oil and ingested it daily, but over the last 6 weeks have been arrested twice for growing my own medicine. How can that be possible in our country, in the UK? You know, it's it's just so wrong. If this doesn't make you annoyed and make you want to stand up, then I don't know really what else would. We've got to stand up and we've got to say we've had enough of this. 80-year-old men should not be getting their doors knocked in for making themselves better. This is not justifiable in any way. And it just, honestly... So he's been twice in the last 6 weeks for growing his medicine. I did not wish to precipitate in buying them from local dealers. Like I say, you don't always know what you're getting. Most people do. A lot of people do grow with extreme care, though. If it wasn't for the black market, we wouldn't be here where we are now. So these points are worth remembering. Unknown quality and dubious source. Prescriptions out of the question. Being a pensioner and I'm aware of the existing medical resistance on this, my blood reading, his EGFR, have defied my doctors, the pediatricians, and are improving. I take medication for blood pressure and use a vegetarian diet. Apart from that, that's my only medicine is my oil. I have harmed no one. I did not benefit financially, possibly at no cost to the state, improve my own health. How on earth does this prosecution help me? It doesn't help me. It doesn't help him. It doesn't help any of us. And please get his story out there. Share it about as much as you possibly can, because united we can actually do something about this. If we actually all rally behind our brothers and sisters who are being caught, who are being persecuted and who are being prosecuted, if we all do what we possibly can for these people, then eventually it will become too expensive to prosecute. And that is what we're aiming to do. We cannot allow this to carry on. Not when children are suffering, not when 80-year-olds are suffering, not when anybody is suffering that need not be suffering. So please, everybody, share his story, make a stand. We cannot take this anymore. We will not take this anymore. My poem I was inspired by Philip this morning. I'll read that quickly and then I'll go and leave you to it. We will not stand aside while you take our brothers and sisters. We have the right to choose a better quality of life. You may think you can bully us. You may think that you can intimidate us. You may think that, but what we have cannot be crushed. Every move you make to stop us, we use the energy for our momentum. We look at each other struggling to be well. The only thing is easing that pain. The only thing with no side effects. Yet you want to be the ones who grow it, the ones who decide who can have it, the ones who make millions out of our health. We are here to tell you we will grow our own. We will use cannabis to ease our pain. We will use cannabis to eliminate seizures. In our children and in our adults, your restrictions are futile. There are too many of us, and we will not let you take our brothers and sisters. We stand united. We stand for what is right. You are greedy and controlling, but you have lost the grip. As we all know of the benefits that cannabis brings, arresting 80-year-old men with kidney failure only goes to show how wrong you are. Love and light to you all. Let go of your control. Let go of your greed, because we are growing. We no longer require your permission to be well. So that's it. That's what we are saying now. That's our stance. We are not moving. We're not budging. We're not going anywhere. And the more and more that you harm, the more and more of us that are going to stand and say, no, we've had it. We've had enough. We will not take it anymore. You are not going to be the only growers of cannabis, because we're not stopping. We are the ones that have kept that seed going. We are the ones who have planted repeatedly and bred new strains. And if it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be a cannabis industry, and we are not going anywhere. Good night. Bye, everybody. And thank you for listening.